doing?
Greetings, freedom lovers. First of all, I want to say huge gratitude to everyone who has sent me such amazing messages of support following my 4th incident with Derbyshire Police, and this is incidents actually since 2020, where they have come at me in various different ways, shall we say. Now, I posted last night on Telegram an abbreviated video of what happened. This happened on Tuesday night at about 11:30 p.m. so I was in bed asleep. Now, my front gate is chained and padlocked, and I did that because I wanted to increase my security while I was standing for election with my address on like 47,000 leaflets. It feels really good actually to have like a security gate, a really strong boundary. So one of the first things I said to the police, and I didn't have the presence of mind to record this because I'd just woken up, but I asked them, how did you get inside at the gate? And it clearly says visitors by appointment only, and they said, oh well, we took it off the hinges. So immediately my Castle Doctrine had been violated. I posted the video about 8 o'clock yesterday evening just on Telegram, this abbreviated video, so it's had almost 4,000 views as of today. So I'm filming this on, where are we, Thursday, and it's had an overwhelming response. I did actually send the full video. My son had the presence of mind, my son Paul, who is 25. He had the presence of mind to come downstairs and film the entire incident. So I did actually send it to various people who know about these things, about what action, to get some advice on what action I should take. Anyway, have a watch of the video, and I'm gonna see you on the other side of the video, and I'm going to be on the other side of the river. I'm just going to cross over the road, and I'll talk a little bit more about the situation. But have a look at this. Let me know in the comments what you think.
Hello, Rachel.
This guy just smashed our door.
I can't believe you've done this.
I need you to open the door.
What are you doing?
I need you to open the door. Otherwise, we'll have to cause some further damage.
What are you doing? This is outrageous.
This guy got bullied.
Step back from the door, please.
What the hell are you doing?
Oh my God!
Just let him.
Oh my God, what are you doing? We do not consent.
We do not consent to this.
We do not consent.
You don't have the right to do this.
We do not have the right to do this. We do not consent. We do not.
Look at this guy.
This
Oh,
is
you're fucked.
terrifying.
You're screwed.
You are cooked, my friend.
This is terrifying.
Are you sure you want to do this, mate?
Are you sure?
Are you sure you want to do this?
What's
Surely
that,
you
Molly?
need a warrant to do
We
this.
do not consent to you coming into our
Oh
property.
my God! I can't believe you're doing this.
Stand back away from the door, please.
I
Molly.
can't
Stand back away from the
believe.
door.
What's your badge number?
14317. You've already got it.
Molly,
Stand back
Molly
from the door,
then.
please.
Is it Molly?
Stand back from the door.
Is it
You're
Molly?
videoing this.
Stand back from the door, please.
Is it
We are
Molly?
videoing
Stand back
this.
from the door.
What's your name?
Look at
Oh
this
my
guy.
God!
What's your name?
back from
What's
the
your
door.
Oh
name?
my God!
Yeah, Mum, it's alright. It's just a door, calm down.
Oh my God! What are you
Calm down.
doing?
Look at this guy.
It's
What are
alright.
you
What is this guy doing? You're screwed.
Calm
What are
down.
you doing?
Oh, you're going viral, mate.
No,
You are just doing it for the fun of
Oh
it. Fuck
my
me.
God! What are you
This
doing?
is insane.
You're gonna cause so much damage!
This is insane.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God!
This is insane.
What the hell are you doing, mate? We do not consent to this.
Oh God!
Insane.
This is terrifying!
What the
This
fuck?
is terrifying!
What are you doing?
Terrifying! You're
What the hell are you doing? Look at this guy. What have you done? You should. We do not give you consent to enter.
You
Oh, we
are
do
absolutely
We do not give you
cooked.
consent to enter.
We do
You
not
are fine.
consent. We do not understand. My personal view, let's just pause a second. My personal view is that this whole situation is absolutely unlawful.
Okay, that's your personal view, not based on any legal basis.
3 seconds to decide whether you want to put on this machine or not, otherwise we're going to custody.
Take a long, slow breath for me. Ready?
You sure Kobe's alright now?
Go. Fabulous.
That's it.
There you go.
You sure Kobe's alright?
Yeah, just go check.
Zero.
Fabulous.
That's it.
Right.
Nice
These
one.
can come off then. So do you want to do me a favour? Can you
What
just
do you
stand up
mean?
for
He's
me?
completely
Stand up, there we
innocent,
go.
and
If you lean
you've
forward
gone
for me,
through
I'll
all
take.
of
No, no,
this.
stand up
Yeah.
and lean forward because it's easier for me to take them off.
Absolutely
Oh, this is brilliant.
outrageous.
This is brilliant,
We could have
mate.
done this in the doorway. I said we
Oh, you fucking.
downstairs.
Oh, I can't believe this.
Zero.
You just did all that for this. Wow. When you walk out the house, look at the sky. You'll see Saturn up there. Karma's getting your ass.
They smashed in.
You are fucking cool.
Look at this. This is what they did. Look at this.
Go on. Scum. Most useless human
Have you got all of our details?
We'll come back and give you a piece of paper with our collar numbers on and the
Sure.
incident number.
Don't worry, you'll go
Should you
viral.
wish to make a complaint.
You'll go viral.
Have the nice rest of the evening, I think.
Most useless.
I'll write all of our details.
And here is a picture of the parked car. The owners of this car apparently alleged that the guest in my home had caused this damage, and they also alleged, apparently, that he was a drunk driver. The police had no evidence whatsoever to substantiate this, and yet they broke into my home. I will be taking this matter further. Pretty shocking, huh? This wasn't on the video, but when they were leaving, I'm like, well, what are you going to do about our door and all this mess? And they're like, it's not our problem, love. And it actually took 2 calls to Derbyshire Police. I did one actually at the time to basically say there are 4 criminals in my house. I need you to send people because there are 4 criminals who've just broken their way into my house, and you need to come and arrest them. To which they said I was wasting police time. And then I made another call later, probably about 1 a.m. We'd kind of put a screen up at the door with a blanket because it was like drafty, and we were completely vulnerable. And eventually a sergeant at Matlock Station agreed to send a guy to board up the door, which he finally came at about 4:30 a.m. and I kind of got to bed eventually about 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. And even then, the guy who came to fix the door, you know, he asked me to sign the paper, and I was just, I'll just sign it to say I've done the work. I had to make sure and change the wording to say that Matlock Police would be invoiced, not me, because the standard wording is you will be invoiced within 7 days. Like, no, I won't be invoiced for this. Matlock Police will be invoiced for this. But the interesting thing was that the guy who came to fix the door said, oh, this is a regular occurrence. I do this all the time. Yeah, I'm constantly going and boarding up doors that the police have smashed in. It happens every day, all the time. If you don't have a glass door, by the way, they cut it in half with a chainsaw or something. He was saying, if you've got a solid door, it doesn't matter how thick it is, they will saw it down. And I mean, it's actually quite shocking, but I get that each of these incidents really call me to research and investigate, what are these rights and what are our rights? You know, we have basic fundamental lawful rights. And I did say to the sergeant on the phone, what about Castle Doctrine? Which is an ancient right, which is your home is your castle, and not even the king under Castle Doctrine, not even the king in common law is allowed to enter your castle without permission. And in America, Castle Doctrine is a huge thing, because you can shoot people for violating your Castle Doctrine in certain states, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And, when I spoke to the sergeant, I was talking about human rights and Magna Carta, and he's like, oh no, that's all been overridden, by legislation. I'm like, it can't be overridden by legislation. Fundamental human rights cannot be overridden by legislation. And the reason we have that is to stop totalitarian regimes. That's why we have these laws, and to protect the rights of the people. Otherwise, this is what it can get to. This is the conclusion it can get to, and that's why the International Declaration of Human Rights was created in 1948 after World War II, precisely to stop the levels of fascism which happened in 1930s Germany from ever happening again. So I'm going to take this further, and I'm getting advice on what to do next. And complaints to the police just don't work. They just get whitewashed. So I think I'm going to have to do some kind of prosecution, but I'm getting advice on it. So let's see. But I did get a very sweet response from my dear friend Mog Fry, Red Deer Sleeping. She's an amazing singer and a very good friend of mine. And she sent me a really sweet message this morning, which I'm going to go and sit on a bench and read out to you. Okay, so I don't have my tripod, so I'm just going to have to do a little juggle, but I printed this out and I wanted to read it to you. She says, maybe an invitation for the monks and nuns when they make their next visit from Plum Village to visit the Derbyshire Police to help bring them back to their hearts. And she sent me this excerpt from Remembering Thich Nhat Hanh, Brother Thai, with Krista Tippett. And this is what it says. I'm Krista Tippett, and this is On Being. Today we're remembering Thich Nhat Hanh, who died last week. I interviewed him in 2003 at a retreat center in eastern Wisconsin. And for the first time at such a gathering, more than 50 people who worked in the criminal justice system were there, about half of them police officers. Sherry Maples was a police captain from Madison, Wisconsin, who helped make this possible. She first encountered Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings in the early 1990s and wondered if she could incorporate such ideas into police work. He surprised her by insisting that there is such a thing as a fierce bodhisattva. Bodhisattva, in Buddhist tradition, being a person who has reached enlightenment and chooses to stay on earth to serve others. Like many of his followers, Sherry Maples grew to call Thich Nhat Hanh Thai, or teacher. But on her first retreat with him, as a person who carried a gun for a living, she balked at his most basic principles. I think balked is how you say it. As a cop, what started to happen to me there got very interesting, because I don't know if you've attended the 5 mindfulness trainings, but that was one of the things that happened at my first retreat, and I just assumed, well, I'd listen to this, but I can't do that. I'm a cop. I mean, I might be in a position where I have to kill somebody at some point. I can't think about taking these. And Sister Chan Chong, who is one of probably the senior monastic here, was at that retreat, and she pulled me aside and she had this very wonderful conversation with me. The essence of it being, who else would we want to carry a gun except somebody who will do it mindfully? Of course you can take these trainings. And what happened to me is my heart started to soften and kind of break open for the first time. Hiya.
Hi.
So I'm just filming a video.
You're talking to yourself.
Okay, where was I? So, and what happened to me is my heart started to soften and kind of break open for the first time. I had gotten very mechanical about how I was doing my job. I had no idea that I had shut down in that way. And I came home, and especially that first week when it was so new and everything felt so fresh, I started to understand that on a very, very deep level, that it's possible to bring this into your work as a cop. Because as my energy started to change, the energy that I got back from other people started to change, even including the people that I had to arrest and take to jail. But probably the first example of that was I was on a domestic violence call, and it was one of these calls where I would have just arrested the guy. I would have just, hey, enough's enough, you know. This was a scenario where breaking up is hard to do, and there was a little girl, and they were exchanging custody, and he was kind of holding the little girl hostage, not wanting to give her back to her mum. And there had been no violence that had taken place, but both mum and the little girl were very scared and intimidated. And ordinarily, I would have said, that's it, slapped the handcuffs on him, taken him to jail. But something stopped me. And it was, I had just come out of this retreat. And I got the little girl got him to give me the little girl, took care of her, got her and her mum set, told them just to leave, went back, and I just talked to this guy from my heart. And within 5 minutes, I mean, I've got this big gun belt on. I'm about 5'3", right? And this guy's like 6'6", and he's bawling, you know. And I'm holding this guy with this big gun belt on and everything. And he was just in incredible pain. And that's what I started realizing we deal with, is misplaced anger, because people are in incredible pain. So I've realized that the rest of the story, the rest of the article, I have not printed out, so I'm going to have to read that when I get home. So bear with me. So I ran into him 3 days later in a little store on Willie Street, where I lived at the time. And this guy comes, he sees me off duty, he picks me up, gives me this big bear hug, and he said, "You saved my life that night. Thank you." And so when you have experiences like that and you start to realize, well, what am I doing different here? I mean, really, it's about softening your heart. When you're a police officer and you do this work, you need to find a way to be able to maintain both the compassionate bodhisattva within you and the fierce bodhisattva, and know when each is called for and how to combine the two. And once you start down this path, it's possible to learn that. So what I'm realizing more and more, that we're each being called. We're being called to call out the elements of the old system which are no longer fit for purpose, and we're being called to co-create the new. So whatever your area is, it may be in health, you may be calling out Big Pharma, and you may be offering alternative health and holistic treatments. You may be questioning the education system whilst homeschooling or creating a new way of educating children. You may be questioning the justice system while co-creating workshops on common law to empower people. Whatever area it is, we're being called to straddle the old paradigm and the new paradigm. We're like midwives birthing through a new golden era, but we also have to be instrumental in creating conscious awareness around the horrors which are playing out every day in our society. And I have to question to myself, how did we let it get to this stage? How did we let it get to this situation where we can have police who think it's okay to do that to someone's front door just because someone says, I think that person's a drink driver? I mean, we have to have a balance here between creating a beautiful world in which we all want to live and really respecting people's individual rights. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now.